This is Andy Staples for SI.com, wrapping up the week that was with your Heisman watch. It was an interesting week in the Heisman race because some news broke off the field that may affect the race. Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston is the subject of an investigation by the State Attorney's Office in Tallahassee, Florida, into a potential sexual assault. We don't know much about the case. We don't know many facts. And right now, we don't know if it affects Winston on the field or off the field. Right now, the state attorney is investigating a case that was brought to the Tallahassee police in December of 2012. There was a long gap between the police investigating the case and handing it over to the state attorney's office. And the state attorney's office is trying in the next few weeks to talk to everyone involved and decide if there need to be any charges filed against anyone, including Jameis Winston. So we don't know how that's going to affect Jameis Winston going forward. We do know that he played against Syracuse on Saturday. Florida State won. Winston completed 19 of 21 passes for 277 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, it is irresponsible to speculate on how this case may affect Winston going forward. It's a much more serious issue than football, so we'll have to wait and see how the process plays out. As far as some of the other guys in the Heisman race, Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota playing for the first time since that loss to Stanford. That knee is clearly still hurting. He didn't want to run too much, but he did complete 19 of 26 passes for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. Still no interceptions for Mariota. Meanwhile, a guy who probably isn't going to be in the race, but hey, we like BC guys in the Heisman race, Doug Flutie, remember him? Andre Williams, Boston College running back, ran for 339 yards in a win against NC State on Saturday, and that is his 4th 200-yard rushing game of the season. So if you're looking for a guy who might sneak onto the ballot, Andre Williams from Boston College is tearing it up in the ACC. But here's a more intriguing candidate. What happens if there's, say, a true freshman who happens to be one of the best defensive players on his team, and about 2/3 of the way through the season, his coaches realize, wait a second, he may also be our best running back. That's exactly what's happened with UCLA linebacker Myles Jack. Ran for over 100 yards on 6 carries, ran for a touchdown. Against Washington on Friday night, Jack ran for 4 touchdowns. He also made 5 tackles at linebacker. Now, UCLA has maybe the best linebacker in the country in Anthony Barr. Jack is actually not that far behind Barr in terms of talent on the defensive side of the ball, but he is also apparently a fantastic running back. The Heisman goes to the most outstanding football player in the United States. A guy who can dominate on both sides of the ball is pretty darn outstanding. So we're going to have to watch Myles Jack from UCLA as we go forward in the Heisman race. For SI.com, I'm Andy Staples.